And boys and girls, live from Oakland, California. It is the Ukulele Jumpstart course, week 1, November 2020, with our special guest from the Zoom room. Make some noise, somebody scream. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. Oh, so much energy on a Wednesday. That's why I got my iced coffee right here. Uh, got to be ready. Got to be ready to rock out. And if you're new to this program, or maybe if you've been taking some Zoom classes, just a reminder that this specific course, that we do once a month on usually the first Wednesday. We had some business last week, but usually on the first Wednesday of the month, we do Ukulele Jumpstart, which is a kind of 0 to 60 course. So if you're a complete beginner, this class is for you. If you're advanced, I don't know what you're doing here, but I still love that you're here. And everybody in between, this is a great time to kind of reinforce some of the basics, ask any questions that you might have about technique. A really good space for that. And me personally, doing the Monday courses that I do, the Friday jams, I felt like I was kind of leaving beginners in the dust, and I don't want to do that. Beginners, I feel like a politician. Beginners are the backbone of the ukulele community. So beginners are where it's at. And the reason why I love the uke is really because you can start at the very beginning and already jam with people, and it's amazing. Yeah. And any questions? I see Mary's already blowing up the chat here. Any questions that you might have in the, go ahead and use the chat if you're on Zoom. And on YouTube, you can also use the chat, but I got to admit that I'm not always paying attention to what's going on YouTube. So I apologize if I leave y'all hanging. I don't mean it. It's just I'm doing like 5 things at once, and sometimes I can't get to all the YouTube questions. All right, let's begin. One of the questions I already popped in the chat is how you hold your uke. Now, this is a point of contention for a lot of people. And really, ukes are, we have several sizes of the uke. We have soprano, concert, tenor, which are, smallest to biggest. We have all different body types. So there's going to be a lot of wiggle room as to what might work for you on the ukulele. So the first thing is I'm going to take off this strap. How do I do that? Because I do often suggest having a strap because it really does help. It helps allow you to use your technique better if you have a strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, that's totally fine. There's a lot of ways you can hold your uke and still do a lot of things. But ultimately, if you want to do some of the kind of more difficult technical stuff, it does help to have a strap. So here's my first basic hold. I call this the comfort hold. You're going to take your right hand. Also, I will say that unfortunately, this is very right hand biased. This is a right hand world, and most people play ukulele with the right hand, even if you're left handed. I will give you a good example. Abe Lagrimas Jr., one of my good ukulele friends, humble brag, he's a lefty, but he does play ukulele right-handed, and many people do. A lot of the instruction is, of course, right-handed. There are no left-handed violins. There are no left-handed trombones. So we like to say, learn the skills this way if you can, and if it's really, really uncomfortable, then you could switch. Because at the same time, I don't want to take away from the Jimi Hendrixes and the Paul McCartneys of the world who do play the other way. If that's really how you feel, then I'm not going to try to change your mind. But you will have to learn all the instruction in reverse. So that's the only thing. All right, so right hand or whichever hand you're using to hold, go across the ukulele and look for the round edge. I know I have the fancy cutaway, and maybe some of you have the fancy cutaway too. But wherever that round edge is, you're going to pretty much put your arm across the ukulele, like you're holding kind of like a stack of books or something, or a football. I had a dream that I was a football player yesterday. Strange. I don't think I would make weight. All right, so there's that right hand across the ukulele, and already you should be able to just, manipulate the ukulele this way. Then I have the left hand. And what I do in the beginning is I take the first knuckle of my pointer finger and I balance this plastic piece along that knuckle. So I can wiggle my hands. I'm not even touching my thumb yet. And a lot of people have questions about the thumb. And really, my my rule of thumb is that you don't want to act as if your thumb is glued to the ukulele. So I like to let it kind of like just gently, as much as I can, gently just put it where you think it belongs, and then feel free to adjust as you're playing. Now, we're going to do some exercises today where it's going to be apparent that you're going to have to move your thumb around. So, again, don't glue your thumb. There's one really important, like, no-fly zone on the ukulele that we talk about often, and it's that when you have your hand around the ukulele, we kind of make a V shape with our thumb and our pointer finger. If you see that V shape, we never want to put our ukulele in this crook of the thumb. You never want to hold the ukulele like it's a hammer. You never want to grip it like this. So always kind of like scoot back, wiggle your hand out, and see if you can be very gentle with that hold. Okay, so right now I got kind of like, I'm squeezing against my body. I've got this balancing index finger right here. This should feel very comfortable. I tell my students you should be able to shoot laser beams out of your ukulele. Pew, 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 pew. Should feel really good. And then once you're in this position, you can kind of adjust yourself. And I always think it's important to remind musicians that relaxation is of key. Like try to relax your shoulders, relax your body, kind of wiggle around, shake around, and see if you still feel comfortable holding the ukulele this way. Okay? Now your thumb is going to land somewhere around here. Ooh, I'm out of tune. That peg is not staying. All right, so when we strike the ukulele, when we do our strum, oh, my pedal's on, sorry. There we go. When we attack our ukulele, our thumb is going to land somewhere here between the sound hole and the end of the body, and that is what we call the sweet spot of the ukulele. If you play an over the sound hole, it will sound a little bit brighter, and even if you go further, it will sound very tinny and very thin. But right here, as you take your thumb towards where you're comfort holding your ukulele, pretty much where your thumb naturally lands, you can gently brush your thumb across the strings, and it will sound like you're on a deserted island somewhere in a tropical paradise. And that's the beautiful thing about the ukulele, is that as long as you're in tune, and we can also address tuning today, but as long as you're in tune and you're playing here with your thumb, it should sound beautiful. All right? It should transport you. It should relax you. And amidst all the crazy things that are going on right now, this is your solace. This is your safe place. All right, and that's where you're going to play. So you can try to do the strings separately. Take your thumb and gently play each string. Feel free to noodle around a bit. This is a Zoom meeting, so it's safe for you to be as loud as you want. You don't have to worry about interrupting the teacher. And then once you're comfortable here, this is what most ukulele players do. Most ukulele players graduate to the index finger. So they take their pointer finger, and you're able to then kick the strings, because I'm holding my ukulele with my arm, and I'm still balancing over here. And that should feel secure as well. So once you feel comfortable to release your hand, kind of shake your hand out, try to take your index finger and gently brush the strings again around the same area. Notice that I'm over the sound hole, over the fretboard, and this again will sound a little bit better than playing down here. Ah, yes. And what I like to recommend is a flicking motion. Try to use the flex of your index finger as you go down. And then on the way up, you're kind of doing that in reverse. Like you're saying, come over here. Brushing water towards yourself. Any painters out there, use your brush stroke mentality to play the ukulele. All right, nice. All right, shake it out, relax. If you need to kind of drop your uke and put it back, that's fine. So that is what I call the comfort hold. And for most ukulele players, you will want to, especially if you started out on a soprano, which is the smallest one, you might need to bring it up to yourself in order to play it. But if you have a bigger ukulele, there is a possibility that you can rest it on your leg and still get a good elevation, meaning I'm taking my neck and bringing it towards myself. And that way I don't have to necessarily hold my ukulele in my arm, but I still want to keep my hand over this kind of gentle part right here. Right, so even if I'm balancing it on my leg, I still want to aim for that part when I'm strumming, try to keep the neck in a place where I'm not messing around with my left arm too much. Like, some people like to keep their ukuleles down, like their Red Hot Chili Peppers or Blink-182, keep it down like this. But that's not ergonomically good either, especially for the ukulele, which is so small. So try to keep it up a little bit. Try to keep that wrist straight-ish, and you'll be good. Any questions about kind of holding the ukulele? All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, and I got some really cool comments over on YouTube as well. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in from all sorts of places. Yes. And then, everybody here in the Zoom, hope you're doing good so far. Okay, let's start with playing each individual string, and this is also, if you have, one of those clip-on tuners, you might want to turn it on just to check if you're in tune, or I do suggest the Kala app if you're just doing it by phone. Kala has a great app for this, and we're just going to play each string individually, and you should know all the names of the strings. So the top string is called G. In my third grade classes, I would say, everybody say G. G, but I'm not going to make you do that unless you want to. All right, so that's G, and, if it doesn't sound like what mine sounds like, then you might need to adjust those pegs. Next one is C. Next one is E. And next one is A. One easy way to remember is good children eat apples, or a fan favorite from one of my workshop goers was George Clooney eats apples. So I always remember that. I remember that better than I remember good children eat apples. George Clooney eats apples. Brought to you by apples. All right, and that's what it sounds like, this song that nobody's ever heard before. My dog has fleas. Which, if you can just remember that melody, it's really cool because once you have the G down, you're going to get used to how the ukulele sounds. Like, you don't even really need to check your tuner anymore. You just go do-do-do-do. Should sound good. If you go to the piano, you play C, E, G, A, then you play the chord. Same thing. All right. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to expound upon a little bit now. Usually I just jump into songs, but we want to talk about finger picking today. So I'm going to take some time to break down this quick exercise. First thing is we're going to learn the C chord. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that A string first, okay? So play the A string with me. Now we're going to take our pointer finger and curve it so that we can squeeze in between this box right here. We have this metal right here. Right before the metal, you're going to squeeze it. And make sure that you're bending your finger, using the tip of your finger to get a really solid sound like mine. If you're getting this, you're not squeezing hard enough. If you're getting this, you might be too close to the fret. If you're getting this, if it feels really tough, it might be too far to the left, and you want to be kind of in the middle of the ukulele. All right? And so one finger should sound good. Again, check out my thumb. I'm just squeezing on the other side. I'm trying not to make too big of a deal about what the thumb is doing. Now I'm going to add the middle finger to the same fret. This is an exercise. We're going to add the middle finger to the same fret like they're on a tightrope. And we're going to add one more finger to the third fret like they're on a tightrope. And you have 3 beautiful fingers right here. And what I tell my students is you want to see knuckles. You want to make sure that your knuckles are actually pressing into the ukulele. That's where you get your power. Do not use straight fingers like this. Use knuckles, bend your fingers. And once your 3 fingers are down, you can take your thumb and go all the way through the ukulele. Should sound like this beautiful C chord. Ah, music to my ears. And then shake it out. If you're new to the ukulele, you might feel a little pain already, and that's all right. No pain, no gain. You're going to get these calluses in your fingers. But hopefully, at least when you're pressing, you're squeezing really hard, you get a nice, solid tone. One thing you might know also is that for a big ukulele, you might need to have some space in between your fingers. Like you might actually see gaps in your fingers. So try not to like squeeze your fingers right next to each other. Because if you have a bigger ukulele, you might need to space it out. So try to aim for the center of those frets if you can. And then you can just try again, adding a finger and making sure everything is smooth. No matter what chord you learn or whether it's complex or whether it's easy, you're always going to check for the sound quality of your squeeze. So if you get any of these little buzziness or anything like that, then you're going to want to check your fingers and make sure that you can fix that sound. Okay, now this is the exercise that I wanted to do before we do the C chord again. I want to actually practice doing one at a time. Just practice the A string and go 0, right? 0 meaning no frets or no fingers. And then 1 with your pointer, 1. And then we call 2 with our middle finger and 3 with our ring. And we're really referring to the fret numbers. Frets are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we can also use the same fingers for the same frets. So this is my 1 finger, my 2 finger, my 3 finger. And I'm going to kind of sync those up. So every time I think 1, I'm going to go on the 1 fret. Every time I think 3, I'm going to go on the 3 fret. And that's kind of preliminary exercise to reading tab, which we'll read in a moment. It's the way we read finger picking on the ukulele. And by doing this simple exercise, 1, 2, 3, you'll get so much better at reading tabs. So everybody try that. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. And in this exercise, try to add your fingers. Even though some people might notice, you don't really have to. You could switch them. But what we learn in the very beginning is if we can leave our fingers there, we're actually better at controlling our fingers in the future. And you don't want to like pop up your fingers like this every time you squeeze a different note. It's like unneeded. It's wasteful energy. We don't want to have to leave our fingers up here because then we'll have to bring them back. So very gentle. All right. And once you have 1, 2, 3 memorized in your fingers, you can do that on every string. So before I do it, try it on your own. See if you can do every string. 1, 2, 3. This is really an exercise I live by. I try to do it, when I pick up my uke. I try to go 1, 2, 3. And I check my fingers and I check the sound to make sure that it's all happening on time. It sounds good. It's a really good, it's like a diagnostic test. I know you weren't looking forward to hearing that word in ukulele class, but it's a diagnostic. It's like, let me run through all of these notes and see, if my fingers are working the way I think they should. If it sounds like this, then maybe you need to work on the coordination to do it better. Try it slower. Make sure you have the coordination of every single note, and then you'll be better at it. All right, so now let's try together, keeping the time with me. 1, 2, 3, every string. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, next string. 1, 2, 3, next string. 1, 2, 3, next string. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pause here. When we get to the G, some people might be thinking that my fingers can't reach the G. You have to be able to be loose with the thumb so that your fingers will pop up to reach the G. So if I'm like down here and I'm trying to reach my fingers, it might start to get uncomfortable to get to the G. I want to make sure that my wrist is loose, my thumb is loose, and I can reach that G string. So we can try it one more time. Again, we're starting on the A string, which is the bottom string, and then we're going to travel upwards and try to be loose as you travel. 1, 2, ready, A string. Whoa, 1, 2, 3. Next one, E. 1, 2, 3. C string. Next string, G. Beautiful. All right, now we can actually go in reverse. We can start with 3 fingers and peel them off. That's a good practice as well. You could try that on the A string, see what that feels like. And then we'll try it every string. Now, this is challenging because as you get to the next string, you have to remember to put your 3 finger down. All right, try it reverse. 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, next string, E. 3, 2, 1. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay, shake it out. Now, with this exercise, you might think, I'm going to get this so easy. 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 0, that's easy. But what's nice is that we have 4 numbers. You could do any permutation, any order of the numbers every time you do the exercise. So just write it down on a Post-it note, write it down somewhere. What am I doing today? I'm going to do 2, 1, 3, 0. Okay, woo, 2, 1, 3, 0. So then tell yourself 2, 1, 3, 0. Okay, so I'm starting with my 2. And then I'll do the same exercise. Try to see if you can keep up. 2, 1, 3, 0. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 1, 3, 0. 2, 1, 3, 0. 2, 1, 3, 0. 2, 1, 3. Oh, isn't that funny? Like, I see some people like furrowing their eyebrows. I see some folks. Oh, that was a little bit harder than I thought it was gonna be, and that's exactly what we're trying to smooth out. We're gonna try to iron that so that our brain knows the program. A lot of people say, I love the ukulele because it allows me to play music. It's a vehicle to playing music, and it's great. I always see the instrument as an obstacle to playing music, because if it were really a vehicle, we would just get in the ukulele and think music, and the music would come out. But that's not the case. We actually have to learn how to do all the things on this instrument before we can make music. And so one of these is getting this exercise down to where you are mind channeling, mind bending. You are telekinesis to your ukulele. Every time I think 2, play 2. Every time I think 3, 3, 0, 1, 3, 2, 0, 1, 0. You should be able to channel those messages and immediately do it. And you do that through exercise. Okay, so let's get back on the 3. Let's do our first song, which is Just the Way You Are. This is out of the Albany Uke book. We'll just jump ahead to Just the Way You Are. We'll do a couple of songs here. And, next week we do a jam. So every time we do Ukulele Jumpstart, we start with this 0 to 60 lesson. I kind of go over these basics with you. And then next week, it's jamming time. So Wednesday at 10 a.m., same time. You can watch on YouTube. You can join this Zoom room again and jam with us. So here is the Albany Uke Jam, and on Zoom, I kind of do this thing where I'm doubly sharing it. So you'll see it on both sides of the window. This is because my actual window with me in it, is going to YouTube as well. So that's why there's double. If you're on Zoom and you're like, I can't read the Albany Uke Jam in your tiny little window, you can use the slider to make the picture bigger. Okay, hopefully everyone's got a handle on that. Hopefully everyone can see the music. There's not too much that you're going to need to look at, though, especially if you're just beginning and you want to just keep up with this music. Really, all you need is these 4 squares right here. Dun, 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 right here. 4 squares. All right, so right here we have the diagrams of the ukulele. And if you remember before, we were going on the A string. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Notice my 3 finger is here on the 3rd fret. That's called the C chord. So I could hold all 3 notes down, or I could just hold 1 finger down. Like this. And once I have that note down, I'm jamming the C chord. That's it. That's simple. All right, now we look at the next diagram, the A minor, and notice that the dot is on the other side. So we're going to go all the way to the top. We're going to use our middle finger. I tell my middle school students, the only time you can show me your middle finger is right now. A minor, 2nd fret on the top, looks like that. check for sound. No matter how complex the chord is, check for sound to make sure you're squeezing it good. Because if it sounds like this, you're not really doing the chord yet. All right, so squeeze it down. Oh, and you might know from your when you were 5 years old and taking piano lessons, you might remember minor means sad. So all the M chords mean that they're going to sound a little sad. This is, in fact, the saddest chord on the ukulele, A minor. All the chords are happy, but this one, sad. All right, now go back to that ring finger on the bottom, and it's C. Sounds happy. Middle finger on the top sounds sad. Back to the C. Happy. Middle finger. Sad. Now stay there because we got one more chord, which is the F chord, and the middle finger gets to stay. That's why this song is so nice for beginners. I love teaching beginners this song because it really goes smoothly as you're playing. Middle finger stays here. We're going to take our pointer finger. We're going to skip over the C string and go to the E string. Hopefully you can all see that. I know my ukulele is kind of dark. But see, I'm skipping the C string and I'm going to the E string. Now I have two notes at the same time. I have my middle finger on the top, middle finger, the tall one. Skip a string, add the pointer. Okay? So what I like to try to do is I like to take that middle finger, squeeze it down, A minor, and then add the pointer for F. And then I release it, A minor, and I put it back, F, muscle memory. Lift it, A minor, I put it back, F. Lift it, A minor. Who's your favorite teacher? Oh, me? Oh, you're so nice. Add the pointer finger, F. I know, cheesy. I've done that many times. And then once you're at F, notice that your C is waiting for you. It's a finger you're not using. It's that third finger. So we want to memorize as much as possible when we learn a song, the correct fingers to go with. So every time we do C, if possible, we're going to try with that third finger. So just test yourself. 1, 2, 3, like this. 1, 2, 3. And then that is your third finger. Okay? Then my middle finger, which is currently not being used, go to A minor. Add the pointer for the F. And then back to C. So when we do a song, put my strap on now. When we do a song, the next thing you want to know is how many counts do we hold each chord? In this case, we do 8 times per chord. It says right here, 8 times per chord. Now, in the beginning, I like to do what's called a one strum. So I actually don't do all the strums. I just take the C, play it once, and then I count to 8. It goes like this. C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the pointer for the F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And even by doing it that simple, you actually can hear the song happening because that's when the chords change. No matter what happens with the song, it will keep its what we call rhythmic integrity. The counts are in the same place, the chords are in the right place. So I could sing this whole song, when I see your face, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing. 3, 4, just the way you are. No matter whether I'm doing that or I'm doing 8 strums, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. Or I'm doing, this fancy strum that you see here, which we'll go over next week. Down, 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 down. I'm still technically counting to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like to bring this up. Why I like to bring this up early is because I'm going to just lay down this backing track. I'm going to record a little track for us to play on. Wherever your level is, if you want to do 8 strums, you could do it. But if you feel like you're still kind of getting a grasp of where the chords are, then just do the 1 strum. You could even, make it fancy. Take the C chord, strum it once, and go, "So when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing just the way you are." That's fine because you're still participating. You're still practicing the chords. So don't feel shy about doing it at a level that's comfortable for you. Find what works. And then once you do it a couple times, this song is just going to go on repeat. It's going to be the same chords the whole time. You have time to say, you know what? That's kind of easy. Let me try to strum along now. And that's how a lot of us get better at the ukulele. A lot of us, in the before times when we used to gather, ukulele was a thing where you would just go into a bar, restaurant, club, community space, and just bring your ukulele, not knowing anything, and just sit next to someone and be like, "How do you do the C chord? How do you do the A chord?" And then just play, and by virtue of osmosis, you'd get better. That's what we want to do here. Just try your best, and you'll find that you'll get better as we go. Now, I want to try something here. Y'all look so lovely with your ukuleles and jamming, so I'm going to try to get you all into the screen here. Let me see if I can do it without messing up my thing too much. Let's see. Zoom. There you are. Hello. All right, so I'm going to put you in the corner. You get to be my fellow strummers. I'll hide myself on this. Yeah. All right. Hope you don't mind strumming along with me here just the way you are. I'll try to scroll while I'm doing this, which I haven't been very good at lately. I'll be ready to go. All right, so as I'm doing this, I'm going to record this song with my feet. And it's going to be the same progression over and over. So try to catch up with the C, A minor, F, C. 1, 2, 3, C. A minor, middle finger. Add the pointer for the F. Back to the C chord. C again, ready, go. A minor. F. C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C again. C. A minor. F chord. We're gonna add the drums here. Here we go, back to the beginning. Here's a C. C. Her eyes make the stars look like they're A minor. Her hair falls perfectly without her F chord. She's so beautiful. Back to C, and I tell her every day. Yeah, C again. Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't A minor. It's so sad to think that she don't see what F chord. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? C, I say, when I see your face. Again, when you smile, A minor, the whole world stops find your C chord, and we rock it like this, very gently, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then as fast as you can. Thank you, Oakland, California, and one time together. All right, hit that unmute button and give yourselves a hand, everybody. Give yourselves a hand one time. Woo! Nice, and that is my classic first song to practice. Just the way you are. I have a tutorial on my YouTube, and Cynthia Lynn and myself, we've done a play along video, and we just completed a flash mob over the summer of Just the Way You Are. So do check out YouTube. Just search Ukulenny Just the Way You Are. You get all the fixins. You'll get all of the ways to play it. All right, so I did promise that I would talk to you about tab. There's these next two songs. We'll do two more songs today. And these next songs are going to have a little tab portion. So another fun one that we like to do is Three Little Birds. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. All right, let me fix this. Fix my thing a little bit. Three Little Birds. All right. So first thing is we have one more chord to conquer, and this one's a tough one. So this one's the G7. There are 3 fingers to learn. So what we want to do is first practice from F. Okay. Every time you learn ukulele, a new ukulele chord rather, you want to learn what we call transitions. So how do I change from F to G7? Well, notice that there's a dot here. Boop. That's also the same as this dot right here. So my index finger is going to stay in place. Then I have these other 2 dots, which I like to call the bodyguards, surrounding that pointer finger on the 2nd fret. Okay, so if I follow slowly, here's my F chord. My pointer finger is on E1 or E string 1st fret. Then my ring finger is going to go down here, A string 2nd fret. Then my middle finger is going to be very close to that index finger on the C string 2nd fret, making a triangle. All right, so there it is. Yeah, and I'll hide you all for now, if you want the privacy of learning on your own. There, maybe I'll bring y'all back in a little bit. All right, so that's a G7. So what I like to practice is actually leaving my pointer finger here and then just doing the G7 and then pointer finger, G7. That way I get my 2 fingers coordinated on where there's going to go for G7. All right, so that's one transition that we're going to try. We're going to take the F chord now with that middle finger on the top and see what changes when you go G7. And as I'm doing this back and forth, I'm noticing that the middle finger only moves 1 string away. I noticed that. You know, every time you practice a transition, you want to see, like, what are the shortcuts? What's happening with my fingers? How can I best move from one to the other? My other tip for transitions is do practice them without squeezing sometimes, especially if you're just starting today or you're just starting out on the ukulele. It takes a lot of pressure to actually squeeze down and get the notes going. So when we practice transitions, it's actually not important to squeeze. So try it like with the lightest touch. Just pretend like it's like when you're doing dance moves, you don't actually do the dance move exactly the way it's supposed to be. You kind of walk through it. That's what you want to do with the ukulele. You walk through these moves until you kind of get it, and then you could squeeze. Then you could squeeze an F, and then try to squeeze a G7. And squeeze an F, and squeeze a G7. All right. Same thing for G7 to C. Now notice that my ring finger is very close to C when I do the G7. So what I do is I slide to the right, C, easy. Now the hard part is reverse. Can you go backwards? Take that C back to the 2nd fret and make your triangle again. And you just go back and forth a couple times. Again, you can play it or you can do it without playing. You can just do it in free space. And shake it out, of course. Always trying to relax when you do this. Again, if you're a new ukulele player, your fingers will get tense. There's a lot of squeezing involved, and you might be over squeezing in the early goings because you want the chords to sound good, and that's fine. But you want to keep calibrating and you want to keep shaking out your hands. We don't want to get anybody hurt. I don't want to have to sign any paperwork, or you guys didn't sign any liability waivers or anything. So gonna get some like things in my email tomorrow. You hurt my wrist. Don't want any of that. All right, so we got C, F, G7, and the other one to practice actually, before I forget, is C to F, because we haven't done that yet, is going from the ring finger on the bottom to now 2 fingers. Sometimes that takes some practice, getting those 2 fingers going. All right, so when we look at this song, we look at a road map. We try to figure out, this one's a little harder because there's no completely repetitive pattern. But this is 8 beats per chord as well. 8 beats per chord. So we're going to take a 1 strum, and if you're feeling comfortable about this, you can even start saying or singing the words. And the reason I like to say words when I'm playing is that even singing takes brain energy. Think of your brain as being finite. Like, it's 100% right now. Strumming and learning your ukulele chords is probably going to take, if you're new, maybe 75% of your brain. If you start trying to sing while you do that, that might be like asking for 50% more of your brain, which you don't have. You'd be like overtaxing your brain trying to sing and play. So try to do like like a really half-hearted singing if you can, or even talking. Don't worry. Okay, what chord is it? See, about a thing. And then change to F. Make sure you're focusing on the F, because every little thing gonna be all right. That way you're not overwhelmed by trying to do everything at once. So I always suggest that. See what works for you. Let's walk through this first part, which is going to jump from C to F. So before you even start, just kind of jump from C to F. Make sure you know what's going to happen. All right, here we go. C chord, 1 strum. 1, 2, 3. Sing. Don't worry. 3, 4, 5, 6. About a thing. 2, 3. All right, 2 fingers to F. 2, 3, 'cause every little thing, 2 fingers, is gonna be all C, right? All right, again, C. Singing, don't worry. C again. About a thing. Get those 2 fingers ready. Pointer and the middle finger. Here we go. F chord. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be all C, right? Nice. All right, and that's it. So as we're jamming, if that's where you're gonna be at for now, just focus on getting that 1 strum on time, and see if you can add the words too. Most of these are correct. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be all right. So kind of focus on matching the words with the chords. All right, this is the hard part right here, and I gotta come back here to keep the chords up here. But we have this whole part right here, which I'm calling the verse. Rise up this morning. Okay, so walk through with me. C. Okay, we're not even going to take time as a factor. We're just going to try to do each chord. Rise up this morning, C. Then we got to go G7. So we got to slide and make the triangle. G7, rising sun. Then we got to go slide back to C. 3 little birds. Then we got to go 2 fingers like we did before. F, pitch by my doorstep. Then back to C, singing sweet songs. And then slide again, G7, melodies pure and true. And then now, one transition we haven't done yet, 2 fingers to F, saying, this is my message. And then to the C chord, to you. All right, so shake it out. If you needed to if there was one that was slower for you, like I couldn't get the G7, this is the time while I'm talking to figure that out. I talk a lot during these lessons, and not just because I like the sound of my own voice, so beautiful, but also because it gives you time to check out what you're doing. So whatever was tough in that moment, see if you could do that a couple times before we do it again. And we will do the 1 strum now, and I'll keep the time for you, okay? So C, 1, 2, ready, go. Morning. 3, 4, G7. Smile with the rising sun. Slide it back to C. 3 little birds. And then 2 fingers to F. Pitch by my doorstep. Back to C. Singing sweet songs. And then G7. Ooh, that's a hard one. Melodies, pure and true. 2 fingers F. Saying F. This is my message to you. Yeah, that's it. All right. So we're going to do something here. Well, you got the basic chords. I'm going to introduce this lick that I have here, intro lick. And this is going to involve doing what we were doing before, which is using your fingers on each fret. I see a 2. All right, so here's how tab works. I have my 4 notes right here. George Clooney eats apples. Okay, so George Clooney eats apples. We read left to right, and we follow what string we're on. So in this case, there's a 0 that's currently on the C string. So we're going to find that C string, George Clooney. Okay, George Clooney. Got it, 0. Then 2 means I'm going to put my middle finger, because that's my 2 finger, on the 2nd fret. That's the key part. The numbers correspond to the frets. So now I have 2. And then I'm going to go back to 0, which is just going to let go, and I'm still going to hit that C string. One thing to note about the C string is for most of our ukuleles, it is the biggest, thickest string. It is the lowest. That's how you can remember where the C string is. Look at your ukulele. Yeah, everybody look. There's your C string, thickest and the lowest. So now with my middle finger, I'm going open, 2, open. Do that a bunch of times until you're just thinking, oh, 2, oh, oh, 2, oh, oh, 2, oh. Again, we're trying to condition our brain. If I say oh, 2, oh in my head, I should be able to play it with my fingers. All right, you only need 1 more finger here. You need the ring finger, which we usually use for the C chord. We're going to put it here on the E string. That's the next one. And we're going to pluck that 1 time. 3. And then we're going to play that same string open. And then middle finger on 2. And open. So see, you're just following these trains. Notice that there's only 2 notes you're going to play on the E string. Everything else is on the big old C string. So you're going to go oh, 2, oh. Then you're going to jump to the E string. 3. And then release your finger, but still play the E string. Oh. And then back to the big old C string. 2, oh. And as we listen to the song, we're doing like this. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. If you can sing it, you'll be able to play it as you practice. So if you sing it with me, oh, 2, oh. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. Sing. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. Then try to play. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. Oh, 2, oh, 3. Oh, 2, oh. All right. And that's how you read tab. You just look at the string, and mostly people are going to put the letters on the left side, but sometimes they won't, and it still means the same thing. So if I see the 0 on, the 2nd string from the bottom, then that's a C string. Okay, and that's tab. Next week we'll do Lean on Me. I meant to do that today, but next week we'll do Lean on Me. Nice song for these holidays, and we'll learn the lick for that too. All right, so we're going to jam 3 Little Birds. I actually have an MP3, so I'm just going to pipe that in for you. 3 Little Birds. There we go. And we'll get a little sound check to make sure that it's playing properly. Let me see.
1, 2, 1, two, three.
That's probably
four.
going to YouTube, but let's see if you can hear it. Yeah, let me play it. All right, let's see.
Don't worry.
Guys hear it now?
About a thing.
Yeah, all right, cool. We got the thumbs up here from the crew. We're going to bring our Zoom crew back into focus here. Boop. And we're going to play Three Little Birds together. I hope you all enjoy our rendition of Three Little Birds. And at the very beginning, you heard that little do. So if you're a picker, go ahead and try to keep up with that simple lick at the beginning. 02, 03, 02. And in fact, you could keep playing that every time we have a C chord. That's what's happening. All right, I will scroll for y'all. Take it away.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry.
Yes.
About a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing and don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you.
All right, one more time, party people. Don't worry.
Don't worry about a thing.
All right, here we go. F chord.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
See here. See again.
Sing and don't worry about a thing.
All right, F chord.
'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Yeah, rise up.
Rise up this morning,
Oh, yeah. What a beautiful morning.
smile with the rising sun.
Back to C.
Three little birds
Here's two fingers F.
pitched by my doorstep,
Back to C.
singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true.
Two fingers F.
Singing, this is my message to you.
Big C, rocking it. All right, hit that unmute button. Give yourselves one big hand for Ukulele Jumpstart. Woo! Thank you all so much for joining me on this wonderful Wednesday morning. Again, we do this first Wednesday of the month, every month. And next week, following our schedule, next week is the beginner jam. So we'll use the same packet here. We'll do a couple more songs. We'll try to get some more tabs in. I will also introduce "Lean on Me," which is not in this book, but next week we're gonna bring that in for a little holiday cheer. If you're subscribed to my mailing list, you'll know that we also have Friday jams, which are a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. if you're a beginner. Friday jams, 12 p.m. Pacific, and Monday nights at 6 p.m. is my normal workshop time. We do a rehearsal for flash mobs. We record music together. Do check that out. If you're not on the mailing list, please do join it. tinyurl.com/Ukulenny mail. This coming Monday, we do have an open mic. So if you want to share your skills, your talent, your progress on the ukulele, all abilities, all levels are welcome. That's Monday at 6 p.m. So check that all in the mailing list. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful morning, a wonderful rest of your week, and spread the aloha all around. Shout out to our new ukulele players who are joining the movement. One of us. One of us. One of us. All right. We'll see you around. We'll see you on the interwebs. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Hey, Lenny. Everybody.
Bye. Take care, y'all.
Thanks, Lenny.
Thank you. And everybody on YouTube as well. As I say goodbye to everybody here on Zoom. Bye. And everybody on YouTube as well. Thank you for tuning in. I know, like I said, as advertised, I totally neglected you here. But now that I'm back here on YouTube, shout out to everybody watching. I see lots of different places. Peachtree City, Georgia. Hello. Watching in the UK. Oh, from Oakland to the UK. Super cool. Brazil. I saw some a Pinoy shout out earlier. Where was that? Hello, Kabayan. Yes. And then I see Long Island, New York, Mexico. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here as well. Question about the intermediate jam. I actually do a regular jam on Fridays, the Aloha Friday Jam. And yes, I did steal that from Ukulele Underground, which you can watch my jam and then watch Ukulele Underground's jam. They're at different times on Friday. So mine is 12 p.m. Pacific. So do check that out, 12 p.m. Pacific. That'll happen this Friday, but it is on Facebook and not on YouTube. So look out for the Facebook stream. If you sign up to the mailing list, you'll also get access to my Zoom room. So if you want to be like one of those awesome Zoomers strumming along, you can totally join that by joining the mailing list, which is below tinyurl.com/Ukulenny mail. And yes, we do have so much love for Ukulele Underground, for Aldrine and Aaron, Mackay. Just awesome people. Awesome people. Yeah. And from Davis as well. Cool. And yeah, shout out to everybody here in the chat. This is my few times that I go live on my YouTube page, but do also know that we go live on Cynthia Lynn's YouTube page every month, last Saturday of the month. So that's our big kind of worldwide global jam that we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic. Do tune in. We've got the holiday jam coming up very soon. Check out Cynthia Lynn's website for that. And we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week. Spread the aloha all around, and uka on everybody. Da, 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 da. Where's the end button? Da, 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 da. Shum, tum, da, 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 da. I guess I should play outro music of some sort. Yeah, there we go. Here's our outro.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing and don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep. singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, singing, this is my message to